Hello everyone, Tom here with you guys, and I'm going to be doing a video. I am doing a video today. I'm going to be at California Speedway, and I'm going to be talking about new changes in the iRacing garage. And there's been, I get a lot of requests, so I have a little free time today. I'm going to try to, bang out this video and hopefully help you guys understand a little better. I've really haven't had too much time lately with these videos. I've been working insane amount of hours, as well as family member of mine is really sick, so been very limited on time. But I have a few minutes today, so I'm gonna, make kind of a short video, but hopefully you guys get a lot out of it. I'm going to be going over the changes to the garage and the cars this season, and how you have to change your approach to building setups. So I'm at California because I recently just did a lot of testing here for the NASCAR iRacing Peak Antifreeze series that we just raced yesterday. So I'm pretty familiar with the track, and I figured this would be the best way to show you guys what I've learned and how you can apply that yourselves. So the first thing is, with the new build, we do no longer have bump stops. They are now called shock springs or die springs, some teams call them, but iRacing, they have them labeled as shock springs. So what these are, think of them as kind of like valve springs that go on the shock tower. The before they would have the bump springs were basically pieces of rubber that would go on there, and these are quite different in how the shock springs are quite different on the approach you have to take, because you now have a linear spring rate instead of bump stop, which was, I guess, a more progressive or non-linear spring rate, meaning when they started compressing, they'd get the spring rate on it would constantly be going up as they compress. Now with the shock spring, it's no longer like that, and it's actually changed quite a bit in how we'd approach it because of this. Before in the last build in iRacing, when the bump stop, you could basically kind of set the bump stop up so you'd be on it when you left the garage, and by the time the car travels, it held it up really good because it'd be so compressed. It was kind of not quite equivalent to coil bind needed, but very 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 close. Um, Another major change of this season is the ride heights and the springs. So last season, and all the seasons before, all the springs in iRacing were the same length statically. So a 300 pound or 10,000 pound spring, they're all exactly the same length, in statically. I mean, if you take them out and if you're looking at them on like a floor, out of the car, there would be no difference between them lengthwise. It was just the uh, how many pounds they were. So that's changed, and that's made it so on the rear end, there's a lot of variance now. You can go up on the spring rate, and your ride heights may be lower now. And this change is actually pretty nice because last season, when you tried running bigger rear springs in the car, you'd run out of a spring perch to get the ride heights where they'd be optimally. So now with this change, you can very easily run bigger springs, like right here in the fixed setup, California, 3,500 pound rear spring. Pretty much would never see that last season because the spring lengths were all the same and you couldn't get that to work very well. Now, with all these changes, though, we're still kind of doing the concepts to make speed are still the same. When I say concepts, what I mean is that you still want the front, the splitter as close to the track as possible without touching. And that's going to make you the most downforce. Rear end, you still want the rear end low without bombing out. That's still, excuse me, gonna be fast. So now, just starting with the fixed setup here, just looking at it, and you know, I'm just gonna change these toes real fast. Just start there, and we're gonna take all this ballast out. And the reason I'm taking the ballast out is just because um, I'm not sure why on iRacing, but I can never get ballast to be quicker. It's always better to. I found that just take the ballast out, and if you're loose, you can change it with cross weight or rear springs, something like that. That's gonna more optionally make the car better than putting ballast in. And now that I've done that, I'm just gonna go do a quick lap or two, see what it does, and then come and make some changes. I've done a lap. If I had more time, I might do, more laps just to make sure, consistent with what the setup was doing. But since I'm short on time today, I just kind of really paid attention to what the car was doing the first time out, and we're just gonna make some adjustments based on that. And the first thing, I'm just gonna add a little tape here, since I know that that tape won't be nearly correct what it was set at. 40 should be kind of close. Take this brake bias to 60 right away. And I'm just putting the brake bias to 60 real fast because I know from experience that in other racetracks I usually never run above 60. So this is kind of just a driver preference thing right here, just setting it where I normally would run it so I can not have to worry about that later. And on the racetrack, really you probably saw very loose, like no forward bite to the car. And when you have that little forward bite, it's usually because your front end's too high up in the air. You don't have a lot of downforce on the car. So when you have like no forward bite on the cars, usually from like kind of like a lack of downforce. And it could be you could be running too much right rear toe as well, but this only has 1/16th in it. So we're just gonna start by lowering the nose. Couple week we can lower the nose now with the shock springs, the Packer, the spring rights, and this is kind of what this whole build's about here. These three things, and knowing what to change to get the desired effect. So I'm just actually gonna leave the spring rates alone. I kind of just want to focus on the shock spring rate and the Packer, because these are the kind of the new things here, and I want to show you guys this kind of. So we are gonna go and change this real fast. We are gonna bring the right front down a couple clicks of the Packer. Okay, and we're gonna even this left front Packer out. Now we lower the right front quite a bit. It doesn't show up in the ride heights, but dynamically on the track, it's going to show up um, because there's less packer in it, and basically we're removing the shock spring down on the right front. That is going to lower the right front at speed. Okay, so we're also going to lower the left front 2 clicks. Okay, and just go back on the track. We're just going to try this real fast. Oh, I'm also, I don't think I said before, I'm using default weather. So everyone knows. Starting to hit the track a little bit on entry, especially in the bumps coming back straight away. So we definitely lower the nose, from those adjustments right there. And it picked up, we picked up a couple tenths here from what the fixed setup was. So the car was really kind of tight in. It turned really good in the center, and it wasn't really balanced though, meaning that it didn't feel consistent through the entire corner. And one of the reasons why this might be this left rear and right rear spring here, this right rear spring is a lot higher, a lot stiffer than this left rear. So we're gonna try to even these out and see if we can get a more balanced feel, even if it's tighter overall. Meaning, if it's tighter in the center, that's okay because we can kind of fix that. We want a consistent feel in the whole corner. So now before we hit apply, we're gonna remember this ride height here, and it didn't really change all that much. So what was it, 3,500 I think? Let's double check here. Yeah, it lowered a little bit, but not much. Let's put this back there. Okay, and then we'll just put this up a little bit. And so we have pretty rear stiff springs right here, and we got really high rate of heights. These are extremely high. We're just going to go ahead right now and lower the whole rear end. And what that's going to do is that's going to help seal the side skirts to the track, which is going to allow less air to bleed through the side skirts, disturbing the air. When that happens, you increase downforce, and you also lower the drag as well because you're taking the rear spoiler out of the air a bit. So it's pretty much free speed. Okay, now we lowered the rear end a little bit. This crossway's really low. We're gonna have to fix at least plus. I always never really run anything below 55%. whenever you get like below 55, it seems to really affect the drive off a lot. So we're just gonna try to put a little more cross in it. There we go. Okay, let's even out the front springs. Fix this. And give her another try. And like always, just kind of want to, make a nice change like that. Definitely always remember to save it before, you forget. It's very easy to do and then make an adjustment. And, not have it. So, the tire pressures look pretty decent here. Probably a little high in the rights. I'll just go down a little bit on these guys, up a little bit less. Kind of rule of thumb is about 10 pounds spread between right and lefts. Just, that's not a rule, but when you just start testing, it's kind of a good place to, start. Luckily, I've done a lot of laps here, and I already knew that these right sides were a little higher than they should be. So, well, after we did that, front end's a little, I think, can come down just a little bit. Not too much because when, we wanted to start hitting the track and then lose that rotation we have in it. So we're going to make a very small adjustment. We're going to go down 100 pounds on the shock springs. So, once again, it doesn't show up in the static ride heights. But by lowering the shock spring rate, we are essentially lowering, the front end at speed. So when the, front end starts lowering and it starts, the shock starts meeting resistance from the shock spring on it, that is going to allow us a little more travel than the previous run because there's a little less pounds per inch on there. screen 3 and 4, that should be getting right to the bottom right there. It makes more of an understeer condition when, if I was lower, like right there in the corner, it would rotate better, but I'm just gonna fix this by taking more brake bias out. That should help it a little bit when I don't use much brake. You can see right there, but it might just help it enough to get me on the bottom there. Touch the inside white line there in 3 and 4 right here, and whenever you do that, it seems to upset the car quite a bit. But what we're gonna do now is take the rear end a little lower. I'm pretty sure this can, just from feeling the car, and the rear end's not hitting it all. We could probably go a little lower on the rear end, and that should help us. That should give us a little more, straightaway speed, and should seal up the car a little better as well. And just, we're not going anything like, crazy adjustment here. Just kind of want to, go easy on it. You want to go too far. Just go down a little bit at a time. And probably have to make a front end adjustment. Change the dynamic travel a little bit, get the front end a little lower. Yeah, if I didn't trade down the gas, it's about 820, I say, maybe. But that's pretty much the biggest thing now with this build is just relearning the shock spring rate versus the bump stops and trying to get your travels and ride heights adjusted because of that. And you can, I know last year's setups look all kind of crazy in the garage because they the spring links are now different than last season. But if you change the perches on them, you can actually use those setups as a base, and that's what I've been doing. Pretty much all you have to do is start and just go up on the spring perches till you get if you remember the ride heights or if you remember close to what they were, you can kind of get in the ballpark and start from there. That's what I would kind of recommend doing. Or you can just start with the fixed setups. That's what I did here. And either way, you really can't go wrong. Fixed setups are always a pretty good place to start because generally speaking, they're not gonna bottom out or do anything crazy. So you don't kind of have to fix that before you start with them. You can just kind of start and optimizing the ride heights on them, tire pressures and stuff. So unfortunately, I don't have much more time than that today. I'm going to Martinsville this weekend for the race. Really excited about that. So I won't have time for another video over the weekend. I'm going to try, doing some more videos again for you guys. Hopefully, I have time and everything starts working out a little better. But I hope you guys learned something. And, if you want to subscribe when I get a video out, that's great. If not, you can check the iRacing forums. I usually post them on there for you guys. And, well, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Bye.